reason most people lose in life. They talk when they should shut up. You think running your mouth shows strength, it shows weakness. Today, I'm going to teach you when silence is your ultimate weapon. In a world full of noise and nonsense, the smartest people know silence is power. Real winners don't waste words, they dominate with action. Today, I'll reveal the critical moments when staying silent isn't just smart, it's necessary for your success, power, and respect. Listen up or stay stuck. When you're angry, the worst thing you can do is open your mouth. You want to destroy your reputation in 5 seconds flat? Start speaking when your blood is boiling. That's how amateurs behave. That's how losers self-sabotage everything they've worked for. Winners don't react, they respond. They don't let temporary emotions write permanent stories. The second you feel that rage in your chest, that heat rise into your face, that's your body screaming for you to shut the hell up and hold the line. Because real power isn't found in the explosion, it's found in restraint. Understand something. Every word you say when you're angry will be used against you. People will remember your worst moments, not your best. You think you're making a point, you're digging your own grave, you think you're asserting dominance, you're proving you're not in control. The true heavy hitters, the real deal individuals who dominate this world, they know. Negotiation, confrontation, leadership, none of it can be done effectively when you're emotional. Decisions made in anger are disasters waiting to happen. Deals made in anger are losses disguised as wins. Relationships destroyed in anger are scars you'll carry forever. When you're furious, you don't swing, you don't shout, you don't rush to your phone to send a message you'll regret. You sit, you breathe, you let the storm pass. That's what a disciplined mind does. You dominate through patience. You crush through composure. When everybody expects you to blow up, to lose it, to act like a child, you surprise them by standing tall, calm, collected, and in absolute control of yourself. That right there, that unnerves your enemies more than any words ever could. Control is magnetic. Control is power. People will trust you more when they see that you don't fall apart under pressure. Your team will follow you when they realize you're the one who stays steady when hell breaks loose. Your enemies will fear you because they'll know if they can't rattle you, you need to rewire your thinking. Anger isn't a signal to act, it's a signal to wait. It's a flare going off, warning you danger ahead if you keep moving recklessly. Mastering your anger isn't about bottling it up, it's about channeling it. Use that fire to fuel your strategy, your planning, your execution, not your tantrums. Winners weaponize their emotions. They don't get weaponized by their emotion. Every time you choose silence over rage, every time you breathe instead of break, you add another brick to your empire of strength. You become the person who can't be baited, can't be manipulated, can't be broken. That's rare. That's lethal. That's how real power is built. So next time you feel anger swelling inside you, remember, silence is not weakness. Silence is the roar of a disciplined mind. Silence is the beginning of victory. Big mouths make small empires. That's a fact. You see it every day, people running their mouths before they know what the hell they're talking about. They react, they guess, they assume. And every time they do, they give away their credibility, their reputation, and their edge. You cannot afford to be that kind of person. If you don't have all the facts, shut up, period. Silence isn't weakness. Silence is your shield. It's your hidden weapon. Because the truth is, when you speak without knowledge, you expose yourself, you broadcast to the world that you're impulsive, emotional, and easy to manipulate. And if you're easy to manipulate, you're easy to beat. Smart operators, the killers, the true players, They never open their mouths before they've gathered every piece of intelligence they can. They listen, they observe, they watch. They let the amateurs burn themselves out talking nonsense, and they wait. It's a waiting game. And when the time comes to strike, they do it with precision, with force, and with devastating impact. Because they know exactly what they're doing. They have the advantage. They didn't blow their hand before the cards were even dealt. You think patience is boring? You think silence means you're being passive? Bullshit. Silence is an act of dominance. It shows you're not desperate to prove yourself. It shows you're not operating out of fear. It shows you have control. Control over your emotions, your mind, and your mission. You are out there reacting to every little thing like a child. You are choosing your moments, you are choosing your words. You are building leverage while everyone else is wasting theirs. And most people are so desperate to be heard, to feel important, to seem smart. They don't realize they're giving away their position for free. They tell their enemies what they're thinking. They tell the competition what they're planning. They reveal their strengths and weaknesses without even knowing it. And by the time they realize it, it's too late. The damage is done. Opportunities lost. Deals dead. Empires crumbling. But not you. Not if you learn to keep your damn mouth shut. You don't need to be the loudest person in the room. You need to be the most dangerous. You need to be the one who's listening when others are speaking nonsense. You need to be the one who's calculating, analyzing, and preparing to move when it really counts. Talk less, think more, plan deeper, and when the time is right, when you finally open your mouth, every word you say will carry the weight of a hammer smashing through glass. That's how real power is built. That's how legacies are made. By those who have the discipline to sit still, absorb the truth, and act when the world is too busy talking to even notice. When others are bragging, you listen. You don't interrupt. You don't compete. You don't puff up your chest like a fool trying to match their noise. You stay cool, calculated, silent. Let them dance around you, showing off like clowns in a circus, because that's exactly what they are. Performers looking for attention, desperate for validation. And the more they talk, the more they expose themselves. The more they brag, the more cracks you see in their armor. Winners, real winners, don't need to prove anything to anybody. Their results, their success, their undeniable dominance in whatever game they're playing, that speaks louder than 1,000 words ever could. The world is full of empty talkers. People who would rather tell you about their big plans and huge accomplishments than actually achieve something worth respecting. They think if they talk loud enough and long enough, they can convince you, and worse, themselves, that they're doing something meaningful. But the truth is obvious to anyone with real experience. It's all noise. It's all insecurity. It's all fear wrapped up in fake bravado. When you open your mouth to brag, you lose power. You tell the world what you wish you were instead of showing them what you actually are. That's why staying silent while others brag is the ultimate move. It's how you separate yourself from the amateur. When you stay quiet, you control the room. You let their ego burn itself out. You let their stories grow wilder, more unbelievable, until they look ridiculous without you lifting a finger. You're calm. You're confident. You know something they don't. Results will always outshine noise. Your work ethic, your discipline, your achievements, they build a reputation so loud, you don't need to say a word. You walk into a room and people feel your presence. They know your caliber without you ever opening your mouth. That's real power. That's real dominance. You want to make a lasting impact? Then stop talking and start delivering. Let them waste their time bragging at parties, at meetings, on social media. Let them waste energy trying to convince the world they're something they're not. Meanwhile, you stay silent, you stay focused, and you stack your wins. You focus on actions, not words. You build, you grind, you outwork everybody around you. Because in the end, No one can argue with results. No one can deny success when it's standing right in front of them. Undeniable, unshakable. Your silence isn't weakness. It's a tactical weapon. It's restraint. It's proof that you don't need approval. You don't need applause. And you sure as hell don't need to announce every move you make. When others brag, you listen, you learn, and you outlast. Let your victories punch them in the mouth harder than any bragging ever could. Be the one who doesn't just talk about winning. Be the one who actually wins every single time. Powerful people understand the art of listening. They know that the true value in any conversation lies not in what you say, but in what you absorb. The world is filled with chatter, but few realize that by staying silent and observing, you gain far more than you ever would by speaking. When you truly listen, you gather insights, gauge intentions, and position yourself for success without lifting a finger. Think about the last deal you closed, the last negotiation you won. How much of that was because you understood the other person's true needs? How much did you learn by paying attention to what wasn't said? The most successful people are never in a rush to speak. They know that by allowing others to talk, they can extract valuable information that will give them the upper hand. It's not just about hearing words, it's about interpreting the subtle clues in speech, tone, and even silence. When you're silent, you give others the chance to reveal their weaknesses, their fears, their goals, and their plans. The act of listening allows you to build a mental roadmap of where the other party is, what they want, and how you can leverage that knowledge for your own benefit. In business, information is currency. The more you know about the people you're dealing with, the more power you hold in any situation. Body language also plays a key role here. Often what someone says is far less valuable than what they don't say or how they say it. Powerful people read the body language, facial expressions, and emotional cues of others. A simple twitch of the eye, an awkward pause in the conversation, or a shift in posture. These are the signs that most people miss. But if you're listening with more than just your ears, you can pick up on these nonverbal signals, which reveal a deeper layer of truth. The skill of listening allows you to respond, not react. And there's a massive difference between the two. A reaction is emotional, impulsive, and often misguided. A response, on the other hand, is calculated and informed. The best negotiators and business people know when to wait, when to let their counterparts speak, and when to strategically use silence to apply pressure. It's not about filling the air with words. It's about creating space for the other person to reveal their true thoughts and motives. Salespeople talk too much, often find themselves outmatched. They give away too much information, and they fail to understand the customer's real concerns. A good listener, however, doesn't just hear the words. The listener hears the context behind them, and that's where the real influence lies. A powerful listener can mirror what the other person is feeling, echo their concerns, and build rapport with precision, all while gathering crucial insights for their next move. The key to closing deals isn't in talking louder or faster. It's in understanding the other side better than they understand themselves. The more you listen, the more control you gain over the situation. People reveal their hand when they think they're talking to a passive participant. They spill secrets, give away their leverage, and unknowingly hand you the key to their weaknesses. The person who listens holds the power in their hands. So remember this, your greatest strength is not in how much you speak, but in how much you can hear. Listen deeply, pay attention, and become the person who always knows exactly when to strike. The more you listen, the closer you get to the results you want. Your silence speaks volumes. They want you to react. They want to push your buttons and drag you down into their petty little circus. It's a test. Now let me tell you something. The weak will fall for it every single time. They'll lash out, they'll shout, they'll try to destroy you with their words. But here's the thing, when you're the bigger person, when you don't stoop to their level, that's when you win. Silence is the greatest weapon you have when facing disrespect. And let me tell you why. When you react, When you get angry or defensive, you give them power over you. You show them that their words affect you, that they've hit a nerve, and that's exactly what they want. They want to see you lose your composure. They want to see you crumble. They want to watch you go down to their level. Because when you react, it confirms to them that they've gotten under your skin, you've allowed them to manipulate you, and that's a weak move. Now contrast that with the power of silence. When you don't react, you don't engage in their drama, you stand taller, stronger, and more in control. You make them squirm. They can't get the reaction they're after, and the only thing that shows is your strength. They don't know what to do with themselves. In their mind, they thought they could bring you down, but instead they've exposed their own weakness. It's a bigger slap in the face than anything you could have said back to them. In the silence, you hold the high ground. You keep your dignity, you keep your self-respect, and you show them that you're above their petty tactics. But it's not just about ignoring them or shutting down. It's about the power of self-control. Real power doesn't come from loud words or sharp comebacks. It comes from being able to stand in the face of provocation and choose to rise above it. When you control yourself in the face of disrespect, you're showing your true strength. You're showing that you're unshakable, that their attempt to bring you down has no effect. You're showing that you're the one in control, and that's power. The world will try to push you, to provoke you, to drag you into their nonsense. But if you can remain calm, collected, and silent, you'll be the one who walks away with all the power. And here's the most powerful part. In silence, you leave them with nothing. They're left flailing, desperate for attention, for any kind of reaction. But when you don't give it to them, you show them that they don't matter. They're insignificant in your world. You've already moved on. You've already moved past their petty behavior, and they're stuck in their own mess. You control the situation, you control your response, and you walk away with the victory. So when someone disrespects you, don't make the mistake of reacting. Don't let them dictate your emotional state. Don't let their childish games pull you in. Silence is your weapon, and it's your ultimate act of power. It's not weakness to hold back, it's strength. It's the mark of someone who knows exactly who they are, who knows that no one can rattle them or steal their peace. So, the next time someone tries to drag you into their drama, remember, silence is the strongest thing you can do. Hold your ground, keep your peace. That is where the real power lies. Champions are loud on the scoreboard and silent in the streets. Your words are currency. Stop spending them like a fool. Master the art of silence and watch your power, your respect, and your empire multiply. Remember, lions don't need to tell the jungle they're the king. They just are.